Welcome to this edition of What the Block, and today we're looking at script block right here. Okay, so this block is a prototype to build blocks that don't exist. So basically, if you're trying to do something that will be too cumbersome or complex to achieve with a combination of existing blocks, this is your solution. So how does it work? Well, first of all, you create properties that you can use to feed the data to and from the script. So data in, for example, and I want it to be table type, table data, right? You don't define them as inputs and outputs, right? Any property that you add to the script block can both read and write. So you can use it to bind to the script or from the script, perfectly fine. Technically, a script doesn't need them. It's perfectly capable of referencing properties anywhere else on your page by using basically the path, just like the binding path. But as a good practice, I suggest you don't do that. Otherwise, you're going to make it a nightmare for someone to troubleshoot an issue. If your script is referencing things all over your page, and there'll obviously be no trace of that unless someone goes to the script block and looks through it and finds it. And people are going to hate you for that, so don't do that. But anyway, so to use the script block, the syntax is basically JavaScript with few shortcuts. You can invoke some of the functions that are kind of available for you in Digilux that make life easier. For example, working with tables and parsing tables and so forth. I'm not going to go into actual syntax, full syntax here, obviously, but I will add a link to a wiki page describing functionality of a script block. So as a very, very simple example, I'm going to make this script block, for example, simply output a random number. So actually, let's output it to the property we've created. So notice I've added the property here called A because I was too lazy to give it a full name. So if I want to put a value there into A, I'm just going to say add.a. So that's how you reference a script property equals math.random. Right, and maybe let's do multiply by 100. So this will be random number from 0 to 100. Now, by default, when you drag it out, auto run is off, which means your script block is not going to run until you execute. If you do enable it, any change to the script inputs will make it to rerun, basically. So there we go. And, you can keep reinvoking, and you can see that it keeps generating new number. And from there, you're limited only by your imagination. Now, it does have some limitations in its scope, right? Obviously, it's made in a way to try not to allow you to break your project in Digilux itself. So it does have limitations as far as what it can affect. But typically, you wouldn't find them if you're working within your project, within your page. It's suitable to address most of the needs. If you are trying to deal with external items, for example, iframe or making calls outside of Digilux, there's JavaScript block, which is a bit more advanced in the sense that it's less limited. It does take a path to a script, basically a file containing a script, and has more stuff, more things open to it, but also less shortcuts. So we'll cover this block at some point as well. But for now, we'll stick to this script block. So again, I'm going to link the Digilux wiki reference to basic syntax and usage. But otherwise, here you go. This is the block that will come in handy at times. Thank you.